When I first started this 25 years ago, I probably had about 30 people in my church. You know, we were just struggling to keep the church alive week by week. We had started an after-school program. I saw that these kids really were in need of they needed love, and they didn't have things that I had when I was a kid. A lot of the kids never got gifts for their birthday. That wasn't a special time for them. And so Christmas was one of those things where I just, really wanted to help kids if we could in a real practical way. Actually, I remember the day I was just driving in my car and just praying and asking God, how do I do this? God really spoke to me to leave my house and go live on the streets with the homeless. 25 years ago, I did it, and it just kind of took on a life of its own.
Pastor Eric Johns of the Buffalo Dream Center.
Pastor Eric Johns from the Buffalo Dream Center.
Pastor Eric Johns of the Buffalo Dream Center has now completed his week of living with the homeless.
He's a local pastor on a pilgrimage for the poor this Thanksgiving week.
And a Buffalo pastor will begin his 25th and final Thanksgiving week living on the streets to raise awareness about homelessness.
It's something he and his family have been doing for more than 20 years. And now he's hoping to pass the baton over to his sons.
When he's out here and he's putting that spotlight on the situation.
That idea from God to go and live on the street with the homeless, it did more than I thought it would do.
I would say the hardest time of the day for me is that morning walk. That morning walk from under our shelter to the coffee shop, and just to get that first cup of coffee and get a little bit of a break from being outside. But that's usually how our nights go in our early mornings.
The first year, everyone was excited when I announced it in church. This is a great idea, Pastor. This is wonderful. But nobody wanted to go with me. I never really expected, to pass the baton on to others that would, take it after me.
How was last night? It was alright. It was pretty cold. But it wasn't too bad.
It was my first night. Actually, I slept like a baby. To be honest with you, I woke up to the train. Did anybody else hear the train?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, like twice.
My kids were always involved in it in some way. I never told them I expected them to do ministry like their dad, but they assure me that, hey, Dad, we really want to do this. so I'm happy to be able to pass that on to them.
Pastor Pat Fleming joined Pastor Johns on his mission. He says it's opened his eyes to the importance of relationships and helping people avoid ending up on the streets.
I saw what Pastor Eric was doing for the inner city, and I was a suburban pastor out in Amherst. We had gotten to know each other, and I asked him, can I come alongside? And so from 2001 to 2012, I began going out, and I'd go out all week. I get to be with him and with the young people and help pass the baton.
Nobody get hit by a car today. We'll wait. So 25 years ago when I first began the week on living on the street with the homeless, this is where I stayed at night. Of course, that first year I was all by myself, but being under the overpass here, the way that it's designed made it easy to climb up in there and put your sleeping bag down and kind of be out of the elements and safe.
To be honest, I was terrified. So crawling up under the overpass, and I didn't even really sleep at night. I slept with my shoes on in case I thought I had to make a quick getaway from trouble or something.
We stayed here for many years. This was our spot. But then eventually the Department of Transportation in New York State put up these metal bars up in the little cubby holes here to prevent homeless people from, keep people from sleeping up here.
Really spent a lot of that first year alone at night, except for a friend of mine that joined me during the day, Keith Colley, Shoes.
Keith Colley and Pastor Eric Johns have known each other for 18 years now. They met through the Buffalo Dream Center when Colley himself was homeless.
We're here to give people help and hope.
First time I saw Keith, he was walking down the sidewalk, obviously intoxicated, couldn't walk in a straight line. And he had his little stick. He always had a stick that he was walking with, but I could tell he was drunk. I pulled my car over. I jumped out of my car and I pointed at that man and I said, I'm gonna pray for you today, like just really enthusiastic and excited. And he said, I know who you are. You're the preacher from down the street. He said, don't pray for me. I'm already going to hell.
For over 30 years, okay? All I know is about dope game out here in the streets.
So I grabbed him by the head and I prayed over him anyway. And he started to cry. I'd found out he had just gotten out of prison. He had been in prison for 7.5 years. And he had been in prison for murder. Now Keith he's one of those guys, he would never probably have ever come to church, but he came for that free meal. He used to supply prostitutes to a pastor and the elders of a church. That was part of his business that he used to run. So when he first met me, he said, don't think just because you're a pastor, you have my respect. You've got to earn my respect. Then I make this big announcement, I'm gonna go live with the homeless people. Everybody was really excited about it except for him.
The first year I did this, 25 years ago, he came with me. Now Keith in his past life had been homeless. And so he said, I'm not sleeping under the bridge with you. He said, I can't do that. He said, I have a place to live.
And really, he was just worried about me. He's like, Pastor, you're not a fighter, you're a little guy, And he's like, can you, he actually asked me, could you cut somebody with a knife if I give you a knife? I'm like, no, probably not. I don't think so. He's, well, who's gonna watch out for you while you're out there on the street? And I said, well, Jesus, I got Jesus. He's gonna, yeah, that's not enough, he said. I'll never forget that. He said, you need me too.
He said, but I'll stay with you all day long, and I'll look out for you. And then at night, I don't mean to embarrass him, because he has this image of a tough guy, but he's really a big teddy bear, just so you all know. He literally tucked me in my sleeping bag under the bridge on Michigan Street and kissed my forehead and said, be safe. You did? I told him.
So 25 years later, Keith is still helping us, still in church every Sunday, sitting right behind me and making jokes behind me and, That
was 25 years ago. And Keith doesn't walk with us as much anymore and things, but we stop by his apartment and we visit him and raid his refrigerator and watch football with him on Thanksgiving Day. And that's where we spend Thanksgiving most of the time, with Keith in his apartment. But he's been a blessing.
Hey, I ain't a millionaire, but we got a roof over our heads, and I got food in my refrigerator.
You guys are getting ready to camp out.
Yes, we are tonight.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad stays not too bad.
And then there's some spots that they're on the ground though. Yeah. They're not raised up, they're on the ground, but it seems like it's still pretty clean. And out of the rain, if it rains, it will be dry.
Okay. So I'm there, so I got you.
Every year this guy, every year he's with me, helping me out. Yep.
Hey, somebody gotta look up for my pastor.
Hey, oh, you're leaving now.
I wasn't making it.
You can tend, I've been doing this 30 years now as a pastor, you can tend to have your heart get hard, to be really honest. Because you just see a bunch of junk, and you see, especially when we work with kids and family situations, and you just see a bunch of stuff. You know, when I was by myself back then, we did have a lot of dangerous situations and different things that happened.
This is why Pastor Matt, this is why people go to Friends Feeding Friends instead of here. Because this has become really rough. And a lot of those people, they're not homeless. They're like, they just cause problems.
They come to all of our events. Yeah, they cause problems. They go to Friends.
Same people?
They have respect for them.
Yeah.
So my wife is always telling me, when she sees that in me, hey man, get your heart soft again, because you don't want it to get like that. And one of the ways that you keep your heart soft is you serve other people.
This is Tony. Are you okay, Bianca? Yeah. This is Tony. He's one of the guys that we've been ministering to, and then his partner in crime, James. These are my buddies. These are my buddies.
We've been with them for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So really it took a shift, you know, where my week on the street wasn't about raising funds anymore. It was, maybe it started out that way, but it was really the Dream Center, myself personally, making that connection. Listening to somebody talk for a half an hour about their life. And then when they're all done, it's them telling you, hey man, thanks, you really helped me out a lot. And I never said anything, you know, I just listened. And but people don't listen.
Who called me? Oh, hey, how are you? Good to see you. You doing all right?
I never have ever told people I'm an expert on homelessness. I don't know how to solve the problem. I get asked that all the time. How do we solve the problem? I don't know. All I was doing was going out there on the street and being that connection with guys, giving them hope.
Where are the kids? My boys are here. My boys are here. Yeah, they're coming. So we'll say hi to you. Someone wants to say hi to you. You know, I know all the girls.
I was between him and Brian, and I was just getting smushed.
I think you're better off if however many people can sleep as close to the post as they can. That's a good spot. If a couple people go there, there'll be. All right. Is that what we're gonna? There's 6 of us. So you guys want to do it like we were talking about, like 3?
Yeah,
sure.
3.
3. Yeah,
3 would be
All right.
awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Is it over there, guys? Is it like rocky and gravelly over there too? Yeah. No, we're okay. We're okay, but I just want to let you know in case you're. Very good. You know, that's what we are and why we're sleeping outside. Very good. God bless you. Awesome. All right. God bless you guys. Thanks. He got a 911 call from this area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so but he asked if it was us, and I said no, and then he recognized me from the news today. He's like, oh yeah, you're a staple in the community, man. God bless you.
Awesome.
So
You never know. Sometimes you get a cop, like, what are you going to do? And all skeptical, you know?
no, usually the police are really great about, and that's nice to know that he's driving around. It was cold out. It was very cold out last night, but the way we positioned ourselves, we were able to block the wind a little bit, get in our sleeping bags, and we were pretty warm. Although, like, I didn't sleep very well because it's just uncomfortable. There's a lot of noise. At one point in the night, there was some guy on the street screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs for about an hour, on and off. And we also saw skunks walking around. So, you know, there's always there's always events. It's edgy. Yeah. All right, guys, I will return. So what's the code? No, it's fine. I'm still the leader. You're the leader next year.
From Ethiopia.
My dad is still back.
Okay.
My mom is somewhere in Kenya.
Okay. Your dad's in Ethiopia still.
Yeah.
You have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, one older brother, one little sister. I got step brothers and sisters.
You're living in a tent there or something like that?
We've got kind of a setup.
That's the perfect lead-in for today's conversation because a quarter century ago, Pastor Eric Johns of the Buffalo Dream Center had a wacky idea about going homeless during the week of Thanksgiving, and 25 years later, he's still doing it. Officially, this is his last year, but he's going to be passing the baton to his sons and to others.
Pastor Eric?
Yeah, I'm Pastor Eric. And you tell Augustine, hey, I know Pastor Eric. He says you might be able to help me out.
Yeah.
If you were living on my property, I'd help you out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
God bless, man. We'll see. He's such a great guy. Tomorrow night. All right, brother?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, he's going to be a hard to go homeless?
I told him I didn't pick this up.
Yes. So, we have 45 minutes till they pick us up.
I say,
yeah, we could just wait here.
I know Donald, we told Donald we'd see him tomorrow.
I drove downtown in the WDCX van to pick you guys up, and there was a little delay. You weren't ready to get in the van, and because you were just receiving the news. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we just found out that Keith passed away. We don't know if it was today or yesterday, but they found him in his apartment.
Yeah, she went in there and she did the back
Should have gone in.
Yeah, I just didn't know if I'd get in trouble or anything because she was doing like a welfare check, she said, so she was allowed to.
Yeah, but how do you walk in that very small apartment and not see someone? He's been in and out of the hospital. He's been sick. We just found out literally just before we came to do the show here today.
25th year, going out on the street. He was with you the very first year. He was at church on Sunday.
When he came to church Sunday, I said, Keith, I didn't expect you to be in church. He said, I had to be here this Sunday. My good friend Keith came to church today. Hallelujah. Amen. When my girls were little, he would play with their doll houses with them in my living room floor and hold my babies when they were little and burp them and feed them their bottles. And he would always tell me, because he's like a tough guy exterior, he would always tell, hey, don't let word get out on the street, that I burp your kids. Don't tell people that. Listen, I've got a few men in my life that tell me they love me. Men don't do that stuff a lot. I got a few men that do it. He's one who always tells me.
Boy, the man never ended a phone conversation without telling each other we loved each other, and then both of us became blubbering. Every phone conversation.
Well, he was always like a grandpa figure, and he always had jokes, and there's some stories I can't tell on the radio, but I can tell you later.
but how powerful is it that on the very first year, you had nobody to go out with you? And the Lord was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. They were always stopping him, frisking him, and taking his knives, because he always had knives that the blades were too big. I don't know, whatever the law is in New York State. That Sunday, when he walked to church,
police cars pulled over on Pearl Street, right near the Buffalo Christian Center. And he tells me this story. He said, Pastor, my first instinct was to run.
And they got out of their cars, and he thought he was in trouble. And they said, Keith, we just want to shake your hand. We thank you for protecting the pastor this week. We saw you on the news. And they lined up, and they all shook his hand and thanked him for what he did. Amen.
The very last thing he told me before he left church was that he loved me. So it's comforting to know that right now he's in a place right now with Jesus, and we will be reunited one day together.
Well, it's Thanksgiving Day, and after getting up this morning from being under the bridge, we usually meet with all my family here at the coffee shop and watch the race every year that Buffalo has here, the turkey trot. Oh man, the last night was rough for me though. I did not sleep very good. We just kind of kick back as a family, relax, have some coffee. Grandchildren are the best thing in life, grandchildren. Right now there's thousands of people downtown Buffalo. There's a lot of action because of the race, but in a couple of hours, after we're done giving out those turkey dinners, it's gonna be a ghost town down here. I'm telling you, it is like there's nobody, even soup kitchens and places that help the homeless, everything's closed, and there's nobody around. One time I ate chicken there remember with Uncle Wayne?
It was good.
And he said, this is better than your Aunt Sharon's. I said, don't tell her. Oh my gosh. So anyway, we're gonna go to, but I think on the walk, if you guys want, because what time is it? It's, we got time, we could stop. There's Tim Hortons on the way.
3 of you going on?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, so someone will be in here to mic you all up, and you'll get, everything you need to be on air.
Okay.
And you should be good to go. Easy peasy.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you all.
Looks good.
Great. Okay. All right, Mary Beth, thank you very much. Finally for us here this half hour, he's fondly known around Western New York as the homeless pastor. Now, after 25 years of living Thanksgiving week on the streets, he's passing the torch on to the next generation. And tonight, Pastor Eric Johns joining me here live along with his sons, Alex and Nate. Appreciate you guys coming in.
Thanks so much.
I wonder, is this a bittersweet moment for you? I mean, 25 years is a long time to be doing something.
It is. I really, when I first started it, I didn't know it would take on the life that it has, and it's been 25 years. Why 25 years later are we still doing Boxes of Love and we're still living on the street? Well, back at year 17, when I thought I would quit, people told me, how can I turn on the news at Christmas time and you're not going to be on it? I heard that from so many people. It's a part of our city like, I don't know if you could go as far as say like chicken wings, but it's a part of now our city, and what happens at Christmas time is pastor lives on the street. There's nothing more practical than giving somebody food who's hungry or a little kid a gift that's not going to get a toy otherwise. I tell you, when you feel like, man, this might be the last year we do this, and then you have some single mom grab you and start crying on you, getting snot all over your shirt and saying, I didn't have anything for my kid for Christmas if it wasn't for Boxes of Love. What are you going to do? This year, we're going to give wrapped Christmas presents to 4,000 kids, and we're going to give food to over 3,500 families. Wow. And so this is the week that kind of kicks it off every year, and Western New Yorkers always pull together and make Christmas special for thousands of people, and we can't do it without all the volunteers in the Buffalo area.
Pastor Eric Johns, his sons Alex and Nate, thanks to all three of you for coming in. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Did great. Well, I know you've done this a million times.
Yeah, but these guys, they're going to be better than me.
monumental year. You're passing the torch, to your sons and to your nephews and to many others that have been a part of this ministry. So anything that you feel like God's saying special this year?
Well, it's a little bit of an emotional time for me, especially with the news with Keith. But even before that it was. Because when I first did this, it was something that I did. It was something that I did to raise money to get gifts for kids. But over the years, it became more who I was than what I did. And now I'm 52. I'm not old, but you get to a certain age and you get to look at life a little bit different. There's not just that vertical relationship with God that's important, it's the horizontal relationship with others that is also important. If you were to ask me, like, how have you grown? How have you matured? What has God done in your life? This whole thing has changed me as a person. We talked about Keith. Is Keith's life different because he met me? Yeah, probably. But my life's different because I met him, So it's not just who we're serving and we're helping, but it's changing us along the way.
Listen, when he got out of prison and he started coming to this church, he said, what can I do? What can I do? I'll tell you what he did. He became my friend. He became my friend, and we made a difference together. I always tell these guys, when you do great things for God, just mention that I trained you, or something like that,